Hello, Remi. How are you today?
Very well, actually, very well. Today specifically, I played 5 hours to the video game Humanity, and my brain was melting down. So yeah, I'm great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You may not remember this, I don't think you do, but when you came to Mexico in 2016, I was there in well, one of your last shows. It was
Yeah.
a night before, and I was planning to do an interview. And I remember it was you and another band member isn't with the band anymore. So the trip took longer than it should. It was about 6 hours, but it took 13 hours. So I arrived very tired, and I was supposed to do an interview. And
Yeah.
well, this is to say is that the interview went bad. I mean, it was a nice conversation, but I wasn't the best interviewer, let's say.
I think I remember it was with Anthony, and
Yes,
it was right beside the
the venue.
stage.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I think I remember. Yeah,
Yeah, well, 7 years later, I'm here for a second round, trying
yep,
to do a proper talk about your music, okay?
yep.
Well, let's start with a icebreaker question, which is, how was your first introduction to heavy music? And is this history is related somehow to you start playing an instrument and forming a band like Psygnosis?
Well, it was a long time ago because my father was a guitar player and he was listening to hard rock, blues rock.
Okay.
So I was born with Led Zeppelin and AC/DC in my ears. So so I began with this, but as a as a rebel child, at first I didn't want it to listen the same music
Mm,
than my parents. So at first when I wanted to listen my own music, I wanted to go to the electronic stuff. But when I entered in high school, uh, I met new friends, and they all were listening to metal music,
mm,
and I didn't even know it was here. So I began with Linkin Park, and I fell in love with hybrid theory,
mm,
and later it was Slipknot with
mm.
Iowa, and I fell in love with it, and it's still today one of my favorite record ever. It's perfect, and yeah, it was my very first introduction with this, and I was blown away, and I wanted to find the most extreme music after this. And when I found Last Days of Humanity, I thought, okay, it is the most extreme. Now I can I can dig other stuff. But yeah, my very first introduction was Slipknot and all the new metal stuff. So Linkin Park, Korn, and everything else. And
And
yeah,
so then you fell in love with the genre and started playing guitar or an instrument in specific?
yeah, I started playing guitar 2 years after I discovered metal music.
Mm,
So my dad gave me a guitar of his, and I started playing without any lesson, and I was playing very poorly and badly with just the two big chords, and yeah, I began to learn on my own, and I don't know if I got how to say this my own personality with learning myself, or if I have a lot of bad habits.
mm.
But yeah, so I started very fast, and but my how's this word in English? Well, I don't practice enough.
Okay. You don't have that discipline, let's say.
Yeah, That's it.
About Psygnosis, did you have like a concept in mind, like a specific concept or an idea about what to do with this project in the early days?
Yes, at that moment in 2009, I had a lot of different projects, and I thought it was the moment to put all my project into one, and to have all my influences into one thing, to then I can focus on one thing more than everything else. So yeah, it was the very first idea. It is to have all my influences into one project. So it was so long tracks with atmospheric and heavy stuff. So yeah, the very first concept is to have everything that I love in one project. But on the concept of the space, the space concept, everything else, it was really after it came after this, when we talked with other members, and we kind of decided it was really natural, but because we all love space and alien stuff.
Well,
but
yeah, I could be wrong, but in those years started to appear names in France like Igor, and a few years later the algorithm, which somehow makes heavy stream music with electronic. And I don't know if that was a coincidence that happened in the same pair of years, or was already something else happening.
Yeah, I think it was a coincidence. I knew Igor way before, because I love Venetian snares. It is another breakcore project, and
Yes.
Igor was in this scene also, and he put a lot of metal in it after this. But yeah, I don't really know if it was random or it was a logical evolution in France, but anyway, it wasn't an influence for me.
Right.
I'm not a really big fan of Igor. I have a lot of respect for what he is doing, but I don't listen to it.
Right.
But I really like the algorithm. I feel really close to what Remi from Remi Gallego is doing with the algorithm. But yeah.
Well, for me personally, when I discovered your band, I was already somehow acquainted with another French band called Hypnose.
Yeah.
And they showed me like the combination of acoustic post-metal stuff with sort of cinematic soundscapes. And then I heard Psygnosis, with this, like you mentioned, space sort of thing happening there. And well, I felt in love, so I came to visit when you guys came to Mexico. We will talk later if there's a future there, an idea of coming to Mexico back. But
I hope.
well, I hope too. But well, the band decided to make the transition to become pure instrumental. So was it hard, or what made you take this decision?
Well, at first I have to say, Hypnose is a big influence for us. So you're right about that. And for the instrumental stuff, well, it was very natural actually. We knew Raphael before because he did stuff on the first album, and well, we had our second singer. It was Johan, and he was really great. And when he left, we didn't find anyone who could replace him. So yeah, we knew Raphael, so we decided to give it a shot. And actually, for me, it didn't change anything because I create music the same way.
Right.
I want the music to be great without anything else, without singer or without a cello. So for me, it was kind of the same, and so it's still very natural. And Raphael can do whatever he wants. So it's
Right.
really natural for him also. So yeah, it was natural. Yeah.
You didn't have to adjust the way you compose for Psygnosis. I get it. I understand now. Well, me and some friends kind of.
Actually,
Yeah?
I tried for one track on Mercury, and I tried to leave him space on one track, and he didn't find anything. So I had to compose again.
Was
Because
this track Sunshine or what was the track?
No, it was a Calories Basin.
Oh, okay, I see.
So I had to make a lead. You know, there is a blast beat near the end, and I have to compose a lead because he didn't find anything to put here. So
well,
no, I don't want to change anything, because when I change something, like in Calories Basin, it doesn't work. So
well, for me it works. I mean, it's one of my favorite songs on the album, but we will talk about it later.
Yeah.
So I lose track about Psygnosis for a few years, and actually I thought that the band was already disbanded, you know. But then the news happened early this year, about you signing with a record deal with Season of Mist and Mercury. So my question is, what happened in this gap of 7 years?
A lot of things. First of all, I moved from Macon to Paris.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a big change, because I moved like very, very quick. So I had to build everything. So it was a long process to have like my own home or everything else. So this at first, and then there was COVID.
Right.
Obviously. I finished to compose all the parts in 2020, and we were planning to record in 2020, but Raphael he needed time to still compose stuff, so we had to wait. And then when it was time to record, Thomas on drums had to have a surgery.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to wait also. So, and after this, still COVID, still a lot of stuff to deal with. So yeah, nothing happened, and we had to wait to record. So that's it.
But by then, you guys have already signed the deal with Season of Mist, or this happened later?
No, it happened later. We wanted to finish the record, to have a full record for them, fully produced, really finished product for them, for any kind of label, actually, because we didn't have anything at the moment. And Season of Mist was the label we wanted, and it was the very first label where we sent the record. And they said yes.
Oh.
So we didn't send anything else to anyone else. So it was perfect for us.
Great news.
But yeah, and we had to wait. Nothing happened, and we finished the record. And hello, we're here. sign us, please. And so, okay. At first, they knew that we are not a band easy to sell, but so at first that they were like, we have to think. We don't know, And then like 3 days later, okay, we have to sign you. It's good. We have to do it. So it was
Yeah.
really great.
Well, I have to say this is a fantastic record. I would say this as an old
Thank you.
fan. As an old fan, is like the band completed a transition, let's say, between finding confidence in all of the moods that happen in your songs, because these are long pieces, and as I appreciate the band in this record, is it's not about anything in particular. Let's say a minute or 2 minutes. You have to visualize the whole thing to understand what it is about, and you have to take the time. So I understand why it's not easy to sell, because it's not about one single. It's about the whole record, and
Exactly.
not just one play. You have to listen to it multiple times to get to I don't know, to find what it is about. So in the spirit of this comment, I would like to ask you, how do you understand the sound that you create nowadays under the banner of PSYGNOSIS?
I didn't get the question. Sorry. Can you?
Yeah, how in your mind, how do you understand the music that you create for PSYGNOSIS? The experience, let's say.
How when I put myself in the place of the listener or in my place?
As a composer.
It's really hard because I don't really think about all this. All I want to do is to have a coherent pieces. So I don't think at first. I don't think about any concept. It's coming later because I want to tell a kind of story. But my first goal is to have a coherent track or a coherent album. So it's an interesting question because I don't think about it.
Well, let's change a bit the aim of the question. What's now that's a finished product? What is your opinion about Mercury, and or what does it have to offer for new or old fans of the band?
Well, I think it's a better version of what we did before. For me, it's like an evolution, and I don't want the evolution to betray what came before.
Right.
So like I said, it had to be coherent, and I want to evolve anyway. So I still want to give people a new experience, and I want them to know it's still PSYGNOSIS. So and when I compose, I think about it. So it's the same with the next one. When I think about it, I think about evolution, and I don't want to do the same thing again, and I don't want to betray PSYGNOSIS. So it's
but in that sense, how do you evolve without betraying the experience or the idea in the mind of the listener? How do you reconcile that idea in your head, at least?
Well, I listen to a lot of old stuff.
Okay.
And when I listen to new stuff, and I think, it's like what I did before. It's the same structure, so okay, trash. It's something like that. So, but it's really hard to know because it's my vision.
Right.
Maybe for me it's something I already did, but for the listener it's something completely new. So
right.
For me it doesn't have to be just new riffs or new arpeggios. It's have to be a real new thing. So
and
but it still had my identity, I think. So
yeah, I would say it does. And in this bubble of coming out with ideas for the songs, what's the input of Rafael in his instrument? Like be on top of them, or you give them like a space for each song?
No, it's really on top of it because I finish the track and I give it to him. So
Right.
he really he is doing his own stuff.
He gives them like final touches in terms of textures and ambience.
Yeah, but not really. I really give him the finished track and
Okay.
and he work with it. Well, we tried a few times to do stuff together, to compose together, him and me in the same room and doing stuff. It didn't work yet. Maybe in the future we want to, but yeah, for now it's a full track for him. He's doing his own stuff, and after that we talk together if I have to change something or
okay. To adjust.
Yeah, some arrangements, but the real process is I doing a full track. I give him 10 minutes of music and and he's doing his own stuff.
And in this case, did you have time to revisit the material and change things before? So is this different as it was 3 years before the pandemic?
It wasn't that different. It was different for Calories Basin, as I said to you, with small parts. But no, for the other stuff, it's not changing because of Raphael. It is changing because we are playing together. So when we are playing together, sometimes I want to add a little thing right here, right there, and for Elise too. So it's more a natural process with it. When you are playing in repeat, you want to add details. Even for us, it's more fun to play with more details here and there. So yeah, it's not really with Raphael, it's really together.
And do you have a favorite song on this album?
I think Calories Basin, because it's more fun to play.
More fun to play. Yeah, it's more. It has more fluctuations.
Yeah, a lot.
Say. Well, I really enjoy the part with Sunshine to the last song. I think is more immersive.
Yeah.
So we have the introduction, with the things that we are used to listen to PSYGNOSIS and made PSYGNOSIS, but then the other half is just pure experience and like get to sensitize with the music and made the reality of the record for yourself, whatever is in your mind. So yeah, I appreciate this album, and I hope to see that experience hopefully soon in Mexico. Are you guys at the moment writing new music, new material?
I have some riff here and there, but and some ambience, but that's it. Not really a great piece because I moved again like 2 months ago, and I want to build a new setup. So I just wait to have enough money to buy new drum software. Just to wait to have more money to buy it, and then I can start to work. But I have ideas. I sing into my phone to have melodies.
Okay.
So yeah, I have stuff in my mind, but not anything written yet.
I have to ask you about the artworks because each of them has like a specific color scheme in them.
Yeah.
Do you believe in color in music? And if so, how do you get to the right color for the album cover?
Well, for the color, it is working with a concept, because as you know, I kind of build a story, And so we were on Neptune on the previous album, so it was cold, it was blue, and now we are going back to Mercury, so it's near the sun, so it's really red, pure red, and a lot of lights. When you are listening to the album, you have to think about sunshine. With sunshine, we are coming to Mercury, so we have all the sun right before, right in front of us. So it has to be red and full of light and full of fire. So yeah, we thought about the color. We wanted this color for this album. Yeah.
And about the color in music without a concept, do you find color in any particular melodies?
Yeah, sometimes, and but it's really difficult because when I have the artwork, it's hard to
detach from that.
Yeah, to detach it. But yeah, at first I have some colors, yeah, and like for me, Calories Basin is really yellow, and Uranometria is really blue.
Yeah, because it's like kind of below the water. The feeling that I get there, like the bubble, the sparkly bubbles, like
yeah, we with a delay and yeah.
Well, getting to my final questions, I would like to ask you about music. Do you think that you also have evolved as music listener all these years?
Yes, I have explored a lot, and I'm still exploring it. I still have to discover new stuff every time. I don't know how to say it in English, but I'm tired really fast of music, so I always seek new stuff.
You get bored.
Yeah, that's
easily. Okay.
Exactly. So I always try to find new music, new stuff to listen, and I tried a lot of different genres and styles, and this last year I come back to metal, and really mostly metal. Strangely, it's always here that I find new stuff that I like and love. So I found it really funny because I always wanted to listen a lot of different stuff, but I always come back to metal. So yeah, it's really funny.
Yeah, something is happening these few last years because metal is getting more interesting than before. Like each year something new happens. Let me ask you, do you have, I mean, I already know that you get bored easily. Do you have band names or artist recent discoveries of you that don't bore you easily?
Like old bands or
recent discoveries of you?
Recent discovery? Well, this year I discovered the band From Joy. It's it's a metalcore band, and with a really modern influence. And that's my top one this year so far.
Kind of a car bomb vibe, right?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. More well, less mad, but yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
I like Entropia this year. It's a black metal band also.
And Entropia?
Yeah.
Okay, I have to listen to them.
Sorry, I discovered a thing last week. I have to find it. Sorry.
Yeah. No
wait. I have to find it.
Yeah.
I'm terrible with names, so it's a hard word. Kostnatseni.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Black metal band. Yeah, you know it.
Microtonal black metal, yeah.
Mm. Uh,
Cosnateni, yes.
yes,
Great
that's
record,
it.
great
And
experimental black.
the last one is mind blowing.
So those are your three favorite discoveries this year so far.
Yeah, so far these three, yeah, I like. There's also the new Rich Hazel record. It's a like heavy metal band. The the new Jesus piece
Mm.
is really great also.
Those are heavy
Well,
hitters.
yeah, I try to find. I have my list right here.
Yeah, please play
uh,
them for the public.
da, 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 dum. What am I listening to at the moment? The Harkan Order.
Oh,
The last one is really great.
um, I might be wrong, but a member of that band has another band with a record coming out in a few days called Ox, OXX, and it's sort of experimental. I recommend you to listen to them because, yeah, they are great.
Hmm? Who you said? Sorry.
Ox,
Who?
Ox, OXX from
OXX.
from Denmark. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, finally, um, if you could relate or assimilate what is in your mind, the visual in your mind, or the concept, with another form of existent piece of work, like a movie, a painting, a book, anything beyond your own music, which one will it be and why?
Um, Maybe you will think it's really far away from Synosis, but in my mind, it's like the video games Dark Souls.
Okay.
I think it is really close with all the concepts, with all the abstract stuff and the the depression metaphor. Uh, yeah, I feel like Synosis is really close from the philosophy of Dark Souls.
Hmm.
It's
Okay.
it's kind of weird because you don't picture Synosis with swords or
Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, I think it's the closest with like hard stuff with poetic
Hmm.
at the same place.
Well, and with that word, poetic, I think that's a good connection to the album because it's hard to describe, to put it in words, let's say.
Mm,
Uh, I hope to get the right words in the future to come up with a commentary, a review commentary on the album. But so far, you give me some interesting pieces to collect and to gather my thoughts. I appreciate your time once
nice.
again. If you
Well,
have
thank you.
anything, if you have anything last to say to the audience, please do.
Well, you. Thank you for liking the album and for being with Synosis for a long time ago. Um, yeah, thank you, and I hope the audience will like the album as well.
Perfect. Well, so is
And
Psygnosis? Yeah, sorry.
and we hope to come back to Mexico, but we don't know when, we don't know how, but we hope because we really liked it. So it was a great moment, great experience. So we wish to.
Yes. So let's wish for the opportunity to arrive for a second time. I know we will get excited if that happens. So this was Psygnosis, a new album coming out on September 15th, Mercury,
Exactly.
with Season of Mist. And I hope to find a lot more records in the future for the band and with Season of Mist as well. Thank you again and hope to see you soon.
Thank you.